Oh, hey, in this video I thought I'd go through one of the requests I got to do a little bit of Weir on Minglewood blues. The song underwent lots of changes over the decades. Somewhere around 79, between 79 and 78, they really changed up the way the song was organized and made it a bit more bluesy. I'm going to focus on that kind of version, one that's got a riff from Weir and also the first verse. Born in the desert, raised in a lion's den, he uses just a plain old E chord as opposed to the progression we're going to see. So let me go through the riff and then the different chords that he uses in the opening verse, then the other verses, and then we'll look at some of the stuff he's got during the jams, and then we'll come back and we'll look at some of the stuff that Garcia does. All right, so the main riff, played in different ways. He didn't always play it the same, but the basic gist of it is open D to E to B, and then instead of using the open G, slide up and grab it at the 5th fret. Weir often likes to sort of fret his notes instead of letting the high ones ring, sorry, the open ones ring. And then, without the slide, just sort of moving from a D up to an E. With the slide, as he started to use around 79, you can get the D. And then another little bit that he'll use will be sort of back and forth between the E and the D, just with the little bar parts of the chord. Then that'll lead into the first verse. So, and then we're just going to have an E. Born in the desert, raised in a lion's den, with them in the riff, then back to born in the desert, raised in a lion's den, with our E, then the little riff, then up to the B. Use the old inverted form he likes, the B bar part, grab that D sharp. Number one occupation, stealing women from their other men. And then for the E, again, use that little progression back and forth between the E and the D. Now when we move to the rest of the verses, I'm going to use an A, if you want to try to grab it with your second and third fingers, that way, sort of get a full A5. One man in Texas, G, bust the jail, I'm gone for good. E, with a riff. Up to the B, sheriff couldn't catch me. This little girl sure wish she would. And then back to our little E. And as we go along, we'll see we're looking for different places to voice those chords. So we've got our A here, G, A and G up here, G, A, here's our E. And sometimes what he'll often do is, just for variety, is he'll throw in some single line riffs. And then even, sometimes in the later 90s, we would hear this little progression. So sort of bar up at the 12th fret, and then grab the D, walk it down, D, C sharp, B, A, Alright, let me put those pieces together, show you what it looks like, then we'll come back and we'll start looking at Garcia. in the desert, I was raised in a lion's den. My number one occupation, stealing image from the other men. I'm on Waterman in Texas, bust to jail, I'm gone for good. Waterman in Texas, bust to jail, I'm gone for good. Sheriff couldn't catch me, but his little girl sure wish she would. All right, for Garcia's lead, we're going to work off of the E minor pentatonic. So E, G, A, B, D, E. E. Notice some similarities. What we've got, some echoing of licks we've seen before. Up much higher. D, E, B, G, E. Something else to keep in mind, when we move with Weir up to the B, Garcia is also going to often sort of echo that A, B flat, B. Or you can do it up higher. Another little riff we'll get. Or even leaving out the G. Alright, let me put some of those together with a little bit of backing track and play around with it. Alright, so let me wrap it up with a little bit of a lame attempt at some slide playing. I don't play the slide, so keep the comments cool because I know it sucks. So when you're thinking about doing it, think about the notes that you want. If you were using just regular tuning, think about the E minor pentatonic. So think about the different places where your notes are going to be in play. Now, Weir is known not for being a great slide player, but if you use some notes sparsely, you can get some decent effects. So sometimes he'll use just picks, sometimes he'll get several fingers at once just to get a little bit more. Think about sliding up to the notes.